Hey Sam, how you doing? I don't know what's going on with the phone. I'm 65% charged, so I'm gonna unplug the charger. YouTube isn't letting me do the horizontal screen for some reason, and my phone is set to auto rotate. So, just quick question, Sam. Oh, am I still vertically orientated or am I horizontal? Yeah, I'm guessing I have to rotate the phone to read the comments, so. Oh, that sucks. YouTube is gone totally. TikTok and Instagram as well. Yeah. Well, pray for the families of those that have passed. Pray for those that are still alive and suffering from injuries or physical or mental from their service. So. I'm sure there's a lot of vets out there that wish it had been them instead of their buddies or teammates. Yeah, come home in pieces. Yeah. This year, I have to say, I haven't seen it this year where a bunch of pipe carvers are saying for Memorial Day, whatever, 20% off. I mean, because they used to do that, and I used to publicly denounce it. Didn't make me a lot of friends, but I felt like they were prostituting the memory of, what some of us did, and prostituting the memory of, or diminishing what the rest of us did. I detest that. That's one thing that gets under my skin. Yeah, we've talked about this before. Hey, picking a pipe, and we served roughly same time. I've served 84 to 87 active, and then October 87 to October 92 in reserves. I came back 91. I dropped my business partner in Detroit and came back. I was helping him set up a business. I came back and volunteered because I was still attached to the reserves. So I came back in uniform and volunteered to go active for Gulf War. So my only brother, period, could get out. He was 2 weeks away from separation, but they didn't want to send his female replacement as a combat photographer because he had been an SP with NBC training and had experts ribbons on everything. And then in Iraq Part 2, I volunteered as well. I went to the Army and volunteered to enlist, and they said if you'd been here 2 weeks earlier, we would have taken you, but Obama said we're pulling everyone out. So, yeah. Yeah, so you had 4 years of active, so you had less reserve time than I did. Back when we joined, it was called delayed enlistment or delayed entry. So it was like 3 years active and then 5 reserve. So if I had it to do again, I would have just done the 4 years and been done with it. Hey, pipe smoking knife maker, hello. Yeah, I think Sam, recovered know-it-all, and I are probably having a lot better Memorial Day than some of the people we served with. I'm always at odds when people say, hoping you have a happy Memorial Day. It's kind of like going to a funeral and saying, enjoy yourself, you know. And no offense, pipe smoking knife maker, that's just how I think about it. It's a somber day. It's a holiday. It's a national holiday. It's a somber day for most of us. I get it. Yeah, yeah. It's that way for a lot of vets. Fourth of July. I mean, never bothered me. It's just the last 3, 4 years, I jump out of my bloody skin every time fireworks go off. Yeah, thank you. And it wasn't meant to admonish you or be critical. It's just where my mind's at right now on this holiday. Or I don't even like calling it a holiday. I would say National Day of Recognition. Yeah, I get it. It's just, you know, when you have a bunch of vets hanging out talking together, a lot of this comes up, and you know, and even as vets, maybe we got active service when we were in our 20s, whatever. And it definitely was Sam's time. I don't know how old he was when he got out, but I was 24, 25 years old and overqualified for everything, and it was affirmative action. I was like, that's like reverse discrimination. How is that legal? So here I am. I'm a pipe carver now. So, but yeah, exactly, Sam. Yeah, I mean it's and thank you, pipe smoking knife maker. But what is your name? You have to tell me your name, so I don't, because that's a lot of syllables right there. But yeah, I get it. Um, it's kind of that these are the days when I work half days. I finish one project. Next day I'll finish. So I spend maybe 3 or 4 hours in the shop. But Okay, Dwight. Thank you. Hey, Chip. Chip, you were asking me, because I had two requests at the same time. You were asking me about the wind cap pipe, correct? Wind caps came in uh, today, actually, this afternoon. Yeah. I'm going to grab the wind caps off my desk in my room and I'll show them to you. Okay, so I ordered three of them just in case, I know they said there were new old stock, whatever, but there's no scuffing, no scratches, anything on it. Has a little friction fit front. So there's a little bulge there that snaps onto. I mean, and they're pristine. So there's a slight gap in there. So as I finish up projects, I think I sent you a picture of the briar block that we're gonna blast, which yesterday in the sun I heard a bomb go off and one of the air hoses exploded, so I'm gonna have to patch the air hose before I can sandblast. Hey, Charlie. So, knife's name is Dwight. Like Dwight D. Eisenhower. This really annoys me that I can't do this anymore. Oh, that annoys me. Doing good, Charlie. I'm still kicking. I'm still ornery. So, yeah, I have other wing caps, but they were so scratched up. I tried to buff them. They weren't solid nickel. They were brass and then nickel plated. So that didn't work. These are pristine, so I don't have to do anything to these other than fit them. like a like a good mule. Yeah, yeah. I just bay, I bitch and complain, but I get it done. No problem, Dwight. You're in good company here. I'm myself excluded. Be right back. Geriatric kidney moment. if you see me get up and run, it's because I know I left a cigarette out here. Apparently the wind has blown it either from here or from there. Okay, found it, so don't have to worry about smoke billowing in the background. Oh, I was saying the wind caps, they're pristine, so I don't have to do anything. I have like Neverdull, so I can just buff them by hand. But there's no scratches, there are no dents. They're perfectly formed, and they're fully covered. But there is a slight gap in there, so that things you could probably use it smoking while you're smoking. Yeah. So while the next couple days, while I'm finishing up a couple projects, uh, in particular the whale pipe, because everything else is done, I'll be that one's giving me fits just because it is so. There's no way to transition from that figural pipe of a whale, a spy hopping whale head, into a stem that can even remotely look elegant or transition properly. So, but it is what it is. But next couple of days, I'll be thinking about. I sent you pictures of the block, and once I get the air hose repaired and can start blasting, we'll get it laid out and start on it. So I have yours and one other gentleman to make on, which is actually a bent, quarter to half bent 9mm Dublin. No, I didn't. I was totally a Cold War vet. The only fire I saw was when I was in the ready service mag for the forward 3-inch gun. And that was practicing, or the phalanx system, or, made 5 passes, probably shot off 500,000 rounds before they accidentally separated the cable on the drone behind an F-18 and called it a hit. Yeah. I mean, you're asking someone in the Navy, so when you say, did you see fire? I wasn't infantry or Air Force or Marines, so when you say fire, I'm thinking, we've jettisoned shit overboard that caught fire from the machine shop or whatever, but yeah, no gunfire. I liked it that way, sitting 20, 50 miles offshore, pushing a button is a lot safer. Yeah. When I was on the Kiska AE 35 ammo ship slash tanker, I was on Rig Team 7, and I handled nukes at sea, cross-repping, in heavy seas to get them on. And we put them into this gurney and take them down. That was my highest security clearance. That was top secret. But we used to quite often, head up to Alaska, Kiska, obviously in Alaska, although we were stationed out of Concord and we spent most of our time in Alameda. But we used to quite often go up and like oopsie across the Russian international waters, and they would catch the MiGs coming out to intercept us, and we're, oh, sorry, we'd go back across. As soon as they got back, we'd do it again. You know how the military does that. It's readiness testing. TSIME. I'm not familiar with that, an acronym. I have to tell you, MiGs are freaking awesome. They made F-16s, F-18s look like pussies, and they were all fly-by-wire. I think it wasn't until the MiG-23 that they actually had computer systems on board, but everything else was fly-by-wire. Those are some ballsy freaking pilots. Ah, gotcha. Yeah, it was called Rig Team 7. For years I've tried Googling Navy Rig Team 7. Only thing that even comes up is Rig Team 7 is some oil rig operations. And the nukes we were handling were Chinese or Russians. I knew enough Cold War. I mean, I didn't want to know how we got them. Didn't care. I just wanted to get them strapped into the like a hospital gurney with a cutout radius on it. We'd strap it down. It had 6 shock absorbers on it on every wheel. Get it to the ammo hold and bury it. There's still shit I have dreams about. Night ops on the ship. I mean, we used to go out and have Navy SEALs jumping out in the middle of the Pacific somewhere around Hawaii, Guam, whatever, have them jumping out of airplanes into the ocean. We'd go out and pick them up. And had a swimmer. I wanted to be the swimmer, but that guy never got injured or close enough to death that I could take his place, but I wanted to be the swimmer. But at that time I was working deck department, but there's a lot of shit I have dreams about today that were night ops, meeting up with subs and airplanes and shit involved, and I still, sounds crazy, but I can't differentiate between what really freaking happened and what didn't happen, because the Cold War was a total mind fuck. They didn't tell you, you didn't ask. You might speculate with your shipmates, whatever, but he didn't talk about it. I, I have no moderators in my chat, and something is telling me, recovering Sammy said, I just ram the equipment powering down and auto rotating down on the deck, shit my pants, and I said show it, and it's not showing it. Held for review, and I'm telling it to show it, and it says another moderator has already handled it. I don't have any moderators. I just said F me, and I said show that, and it's not showing it either. So apparently YouTube has decided to inject its own moderator in here. Let me try scrolling down the chat and then scrolling back up, see if it refreshes. Okay, now it's showing. Yeah, that. So I just said show again. It's not giving me that same message, but yeah, that is weird. Now it's showing it, but it was telling me another moderator. I was like, what other moderator? This is my channel. I haven't assigned any moderators. I'm outspoken, verbose enough. I can pretty much handle anything. Yeah, that's a little creepy, Charlie. That's and not to mention this is the first one I've done where I can't have my screen sitting like this with the charger out the side. They've gone totally TikTok. Hey, Daniel. I mean, if I can say the F word, you guys can definitely text in the F word if you want to. Oh, God. Boy, they're on you like white on rice, Sam, tonight. Everything you enter in now is being held for review. It's been geriatric, Daniel. So, I mean, bless you, Daniel. Thank you for asking, but yeah, it's been geriatric. It's just, uh, yeah, I was just talking to my brother and another vet on Telegram, and I was like, yeah, getting old ain't for pussies, you know. I wake up every morning cursing. Even my friends in the UK say I use the F word more inclusively than they know how to use it. You know, so yeah, thank you though. Copious usage of the F bomb and caffeine. Yeah, I think if YouTube knew vets, or if we had to, you know, when we set up an account, if we had to say whether we had a military affiliation or not, they'd probably mute half of us. You know, when vets say "f you," I mean to your face they mean it, but when it's just in general conversation, we use it like punctuation. Yeah, don't worry about it, Daniel. I mean, you hit the brakes. If you can stop in time, you stop in time. If you can't, it's on them. They cut you off. That's why you keep a camera in the cab. Oh, I'm guessing this is another comment from Sam because this message is held for review again. Yep. U.S. Army, 2nd Infantry, who fucking rah. Yeah. Yeah, apparently. So, Sam, you're a little too patriotic for YouTube's taste. I'm just saying. So, and I mean, if you think about how ironic it's Memorial Day weekend, and one of the vets is getting totally censored. I figure if you volunteered to lay down your life, and a lot of our friends did, we were the lucky ones. You know? But if you're gonna be censored for saying the F word, I mean, come on. And this chat is already marked as not suitable for people under 18. So what's YouTube's problem? What is your fucking problem, YouTube? Let's see if they bleep me on that. Did you use the F word again, Sam? Because, yeah, I'm having to approve it again. Then I have to scroll up, and then I have to scroll down before it shows. See, you're even abbreviating shorter. You're down to FCK now. Yeah, I mean, yeah. YouTube is YouTube is on you. But I'll do my part. You keep getting censored, and I'll keep approving it. Yeah, go for it. You think AI isn't scary? Yes, AI is scary because there's nobody sitting in a screen on YouTube watching all these lives. This is AI doing this shit. Peter and I got in a little, it wasn't, it's friendly debate. So today I posted up a thing of Elon Musk talking about why AI sucks. It's getting that time of the night where the lighting, background, and then the light over there, everything's going yellow, white, yellow, white. Yeah, exactly. I have a friend of a friend actually, that does appliance repair, and he's saying, I mean, years ago, what, 10 years ago or more, he was talking about like the Samsung refrigerators and stuff where It scans the barcodes. It recognizes the barcodes when you're putting groceries into the refrigerator and notifies you. I was like, no, disconnect that shit. You don't need them to know all that. But they're total pieces of crap. They're $3,000 pieces of crap. Yep. Wait a minute. Another message held for review. Sure. Scroll up to refresh the chat. Scroll back down. Oh no, now it's telling me again another moderator handled it. There is no other moderator. There we go. Yeah, for JJ. Yeah. I mean, I've had arguments with law enforcement before. Like, you had no probable cause for pulling me over, whatever. But my problem with a lot of the ex-military law enforcement are pretty cool. I mean, they're on the same mindset we are, pretty much. Although, I mean, you could look at it as they're in a combat zone 24/7, so they're always pumped up. But there are some law enforcement, quite a few of them, especially working in the jails. Some of them on road patrol. Uh, yeah, some of those guys, they were the guys that got bullied or picked on in school, whatever, and they decided, okay, I'm going to be a cop and exact their revenge. I mean, quite literally exact their revenge on the populace. Hey, Jeffrey. Yeah, authority junkies. My landlord is one of those, do as I say, not as I do. He rips off utilities and has a history of it and sticking it to the man and his ideology, but this is a guy that will go buy a case of Pepsi cups identical to the ones that they use at the soda fountain at Costco, just so he can go up and get their free refills while he's filling up his gas tank. I'm like, dude, yeah, I don't like that kind of shit. Thank you, Jeffrey. It's good to be seen. The last few years, I've had a couple close calls. No, but I'm always positive about it. I mean, when it's happening, it sucks. It sucks ass, really. But over the past few years, you guys have seen me in a forced air respirator or whatever, and I'm always like, yeah, okay, I'm good, but it's what it is. When it's my time, it's my time. But when the doctors ask me, I tell them, fuck you, I ain't. They told me I was septic with influenza A. I said, what's that mean? That means you're dying. I was like, fuck you, I'm dying. Wanted me to walk. After 3 days, wanted me to walk one lap around the hospital floor. I said, we're going to do 3 laps and you're going to let me out of here. So I did 3 laps. Came home and sucked wind. Yeah, I mean, I agree, Sam, that, man, my despite my own wants and desires, in my mind, God is in control. When it's my time, it's my time. Same thing like a lot of the vets. It's some of us, forfeit our lives, whatever, whether that was, you could break it down to a microcosm where was it a Christian act or not. You're killing other people, you're a combatant. But that's not unheard of scripturally or biblically in any Bible or scripture or any religion or scripture. Um, sometimes it's required, but I think what it boils down to is if you see something is wrong, and whether it's in the military or even in civilian life, you see, you know, a woman being raped or someone being mugged or beaten or stabbed or whatever. I'm my whole life I've been sick up to here with watching people standing around doing nothing. And I was always one of those people that ran towards it when gunshots were going off. I was leaving before it happened. I said, "You're going to have a problem." And they're like, "Oh, no, 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 no. You don't understand the Thai culture or the Cambodian culture or the Korean culture." I said, "Okay, you can have a problem, man." And I was telling my partner, let's go. It's going to be a problem here in like 5 minutes. Next thing you know, there's gunshots going off. So then there's other times where shit has happened and everybody's running, and I had to run into it, because if I didn't do something to stop it or prevent it from escalating, although one or two people had been shot already, it wasn't going to get any better. So for me, when that kind of shit happens, it kind of goes back to my military training and then my martial arts training. Is everything just goes boom. All of a sudden everything starts moving in slow motion, and it feels like I have days to think about it. I see everything. If I do this, this will happen. If I do this, and all those things just happen like this, but it seems like days to think about it, and it's actually not. It's happening in seconds, fractions of a second. Yeah, no, nobody, Daniel, nobody wants to kill another human being. But if you have the intestinal fortitude, the mindset to do that, to prevent millions or thousands or whatever from dying, yeah, not in the name of politics, but what you in your heart believe is right. If you don't kill this person, I mean, would you feel bad about killing Hitler or Stalin or Mao? How many people have they killed? Pol Pot? I mean, yeah. The only thing that keeps these people from running rampant and, I mean, genocides occurred, but the only thing that keeps them from going any further is because people like myself or like Sam and other people volunteered to join an organization, a militia, that if we would follow orders. We would do, and but we're not a bunch of mindless drones. There are some people in the military that are mindless drones and have no qualms about anything. But there are a lot of people in the military that take what they do very serious. They don't take the military seriously outside of them giving their oath or their word. But taking another human life is something, and I witnessed that in my uncles and my grandfathers who were World War II. But I also have two uncles. One survived Auschwitz, one survived Dachau, and they were total victims. So where do you draw the line? You may feel bad about it, but I I think most of us hope that what we do, even if we're damned to hell for it, for taking another life, fine, we'll pay that price because it prevented shit from like Auschwitz and Dachau and other shit like that happening again. Okay, Charlie, take care. Have a good weekend. Yeah, I agree with that, Sam. I think in a roundabout way, I kind of said that. If I missed something, let me know. Yeah, I mean, and that's another thing. I mean, in our culture, maybe we perceive it as morally right. I do have a background in psychology a little bit, but and other countries would see it as morally wrong because they have a different view of it. I mean, but that's why it's called war. When you join the military, you sign a contract and you agree to follow lawful orders, constitutional orders, or Geneva Convention orders. And you have to be totally. He's like, okay, not I'm a badass now. You have to be totally aware that you may be required to do a bunch of shit that you couldn't even have imagined. Yeah, I understand that, RD. I mean, but it's something hopefully that, I mean, it's going to happen in the military, in the war, or in conflicts. But it's something you pray you never have to do because that is, as a witness to some of my friends and my grandfather and my uncles, it's something that never leaves you. Yeah. I have a patch my brother sent me a few years ago. Well, it's on my desk now, but I used to keep it in my truck. And it says, whatever, gold trim around the outside, and then whatever in the inside says, Cold War vet, don't let the gray hair fool you. We can still kick ass, you know. And you know, guys have been in combat. I mean, that's a totally distinct. Even during the Cold War, that there don't think that there wasn't anything going on because spec cops were doing their shit. Sorry. aircraft. But I don't know if you agree or not, Sam, but Cold War vets, and I love spy films and stuff like that because that is exactly what, back in the 80s to the 90s, the Cold Wars. You're doing shit that you didn't even know why you were doing it, and after a couple times asking, you learn not to ask anymore because nobody knew what the fuck we were doing. Everything was like espionage. Boy, Sam, you're gonna start having to say please and something a lot more because you're pissing off YouTube. Okay, try this don't. And that just, instead of the abbreviation, just use the capital letter F. There we go. He's probably saying, thick that. So, yeah. So, see how many blocked messages for Sam I have coming up that I have to approve. Yep, there's one right there. Show. Scroll. Show. Another moderator, my ass. Scroll up, scroll down. No, typically John snipers aren't closer. Typically snipers are further away. The problem is they're typically in the shit and they'll spend days just moving 100 yards, you know, and a lot of times with a spotter, depending on which weapon you're using. So a lot of times need a spotter. Yeah. Damn it, I'm gonna have to plug this bastard in because YouTube has gone TikTok on us. See, even there it's telling me rotate device. No. Freaking YouTube, you rotate. Here you go, Sam. Just start saying Shangnama or Shiponama. Chapelioma. Chapelioma. Yeah, there you go. Close enough. What you do is go to Google Translate, put in the English, translate to Korean, then you copy and paste it onto your notepad or clipboard. And anytime you want to use it in the chat, you just copy and paste the Hangul. Or Tagalog. Puntang na. This means son of a bitch. No, Black Ops just do shit that is plausibly deniable. So if they get caught, whatever government sponsored them or put them into action or on the mission can deny their existence. That's the whole point of Black Ops. Kiasikia. I'm not familiar with that. I don't know if I'm reading that right or not, Sam. Well, the point is, John, as a sniper, whether you have a spotter or not, you'll spend days getting there, and silencers aren't like the movies where it's whisper quiet. If you fire, if you fire off too much, they definitely gonna know where you're coming from, and then there's no sneaking out. You gotta run like a motherfucker. But if you're far enough away, they might not be able to see the flash. You have a flash suppressor. You know, you've got a silencer on it. Whatever. Typically, you're far enough away to be able to make the shot with the weapon. So 600, 800. I mean, what in Iraq, I think the record was over a mile. So yeah, they're unless they've got their own fucking spotters, they're not seeing where you're coming from. So typically, you can egress pretty quickly. You can egress a lot more rapidly. Well, and a lot of times, if they do spot you, you have to egress a lot more rapidly to a rendezvous or extraction point than you ingressed. Yeah, I would argue, Sam, that I had a customer a few years ago, and he was a was it uh, World War II or Korean War vet. Even in the hospital, he was ordering commissions from me. And I'm like, dude, you need to take care of yourself first. He said, no, I want the fine, But he passed shortly after in the hospital, got his pipe, passed shortly after, and he had a handful of pipes from me and from Paul Maynard as well. He was originally one of Paul's customers, but and one of the things he said is, I appreciate you because you're obviously a vet or ex-military, former military, whatever you want to call it, because you're proactive, not reactive. And I think that's the point. Most vets are proactive. They see a problem, they analyze it. And I've had friends unfollow me that, you know, during January 6th, say, oh, you should be there, what. I said, no, that's a knee jerk reaction. And this looks like a setup to me, you know. So these are guys that, claim to be vets, probably got kicked out, just said, oh, my back hurts, and got $300 a month for the rest of their life in boot camp. And I said, no, that's not the way constitutionalists, conservatives act. We're proactive. We're not reactive. You're knee jerking. You know, as a conservative constitutionalist, you typically, especially as a vet, you learn to assess the situation. Is this the time to move or is it not? And then when it is the time to move, you move. You don't knee jerk and react. The knee jerk and reaction become your reactionary victim. Now you're part of their propaganda. You just became a martyr for the opposing side. Yeah. I have friends that were Green Berets. I don't even know if he's still alive. It's been a few years since I've seen him. His name was Bud. And hang at a Korean karaoke, but he brought in photos one day of, when he was in Vietnam. And I mean, he looked like a Esquire magazine Stetson hat model in a Green Beret. He could have been the poster child for the U.S. Army back in the day. But he remembers, what he told me is he remembered going into a village. They were dropped outside, and I think this was outside Vietnam. I think it was in Cambodia. And they came in and for the Viet Cong, and it was an ambush. It was a setup, misinformation. Every single member of his fire team, I don't even think they called it a fire team back then. I think that was later on in the 80s and 90s that they called it a fire team. But every member got wiped out except him, and he was shot. And he remembers seeing the Viet Cong soldier coming around and shoving the bayonet into everyone in the rice paddy. And he was playing dead, and the VC shoved the bayonet into him, and he still didn't move. Then he remembers losing consciousness, thinking, that's it, I'm dead. And he remembers regaining consciousness, Navy SEAL, full-on beard. He remembers waking up to a Navy SEAL say, I got you, hang on, you stay awake, I got you, you bastard. And he carried him out. Navy SEAL carried him 6 miles out to an extraction zone. And he remembers being lifted up in a helo basket and passing out, and then waking up in the hospital. And he was in the hospital for like 8 months. Yeah, and that got him teary-eyed every time he talked about it. And it gets me kind of choked up thinking about it too. But hey, Ganj. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of shit in RD. You can affirm or deny this, whatever way you choose. But there's a lot of shit that we were fed in the military, whatever branch it was, is imperative. And so fulfilling our oath and doing what we thought was right. We followed it. And a lot of us followed it until we realized that no, this is bullshit, which happened in Vietnam and Korea to some extent. And like, no, wait a minute, this don't fucking jive, and because you swore an oath and you're still active, you have to follow through, because if you don't, you'll be a friendly fire victim in a heartbeat. Or in the case of the Navy, man overboard, and they're like, oh, I didn't see him fall over. Yeah, everything's compartmentalized. He only knew, even all the way up to the captain of a ship or captain of a command. The farther down the ranks you are, the less you know. Everybody only knows a piece of it, and to get all the way up to the commander of a base or captain of a ship, he has a bigger picture and he knows everything everyone below him knows. But the people above him know more shit than he does. He still doesn't have the full picture. Yeah. I say the Cold War. Yeah, I love James Bond film, BBC mysteries, and that shit, because I mean, literally reminds me of my time in service, and everything was one big mind fuck. Excuse my language. Yeah, yeah. Tillman was cool until he wasn't cool anymore. Got rid of him. He had too much notoriety. People listened to him. Yeah, yeah, and that's the problem where most of us get into trouble is, you're like, wait a minute, you said this last month and now you're telling us this, and it creates, I mean, because the human mind wants answers, it's inquisitive. If the line they're giving you creates, the answer they're giving you creates more questions than the single answer they're giving you, then most people with any morality or any sense are going to like, wait a minute, but yeah, it happens. Sad, but it is true. I mean, that doesn't take the morality away from us. I mean, it doesn't put the blame on us. What it does is question the morality of the leadership and puts the blame on the leadership. I personally have met Rear Admiral Crowe on Diego Garcia. I think he was a great guy, a little short guy, but built like a bulldog. So I'm not going to get into historical figures. I'm just going to talk about my lifetime. But I think Schwarzkopf, during my lifetime, he had been in Vietnam as well, but he wasn't a backtier brigadier, so to speak. He was totally into being in the front lines. If you're going to put them there, I'm going to be there. If I'm going to put them there, I'm going to be there. Schwarzkopf, I think, was a good one. Yeah, RD. I mean, you don't realize until you're in the military. I mean, if you're a 4.0 sailor, or I don't know what it is in the other branches of the service, I was 3.8, which is the next one below 4.0. which means I didn't have my head up the captain's ass or the XO's ass. You know, I would have been, if I'd stayed in, I would have been one of those guys with 30 years of red hash marks and no good conducts. You know, even my letters of commendation, my expert's rib has fucking disappeared from one command, and you can't find that shit to save my life now. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah. Or like my uncles, some are Army, some are Marines, they said pin cushions. Well, you have to realize when you start hitting 2, 3, 4 stars, you're very much in the political field. So if you speak out, you know, from your military profession and it goes against the political establishment, yeah, they don't give a fuck how high ranking you are. I mean, look at Patton, same shit. Yeah, and even as a general, you still have to answer to the president of the United States, and if the president of the United States doesn't like you, you're your number's up. You're toast. You're discredited. You're shamed. Yeah, you're doomed to obscurity in any country. Same shit. Doesn't matter if you're a 4-star general or a private. If you're a 4-star general, 5-star general like Patton, and you speak out and it's president doesn't agree with it or the leader of the country doesn't agree with it, you're fucking toast. I mean, if you're a private and you speak out, yeah, it's pretty rapid, you know. But if you're anybody ranking high enough to draw any public attention, they're going to destroy your life. No, everybody in the U.S. military, everybody answers to the President of the United States, POTUS. And a lot of times, I mean, George Washington was a general. Was it Eisenhower? There have been many presidents, or I wouldn't say many, but several presidents that were high-ranking officers in the military, especially after World War One. Well, I would say Civil War to World War Two. And the military is its own establishment, but like the politicians, which they've forgotten now, they work for us. Even though we pay taxes and all this bullshit, no taxation without representation, whatever, Boston Tea Party and all that kind of shit. Most politicians have forgotten that they work for us. And the Constitution, U.S. Constitution, the First Amendment, I mean, it's, I forget the comedian who said it, is the most important. The Second Amendment to the Constitution is there just in case they forget the First Amendment. Yeah. I mean, you look at the WikiLeaks and all that. The one guy that they're trying to extradite and prosecute, put in prison for fucking life, all he did was what any other journalist would do. He didn't leak the information. The New York Times and other similar leaked it, but he leaked it first. None of the rest of them are being trying to be extradited and put in prison for life. The guy who actually did the WikiLeaks, and then they're trying to say he's a hacker. He wasn't a hacker. He had the information came across his fucking desk, and yeah, they're not worried about him, but they're worried about the guy who published it. Petraeus was a good guy too. What? Oh, I was trying to think of the Reagan years. There was the was it 3 4-star general Marine Corps? Oh, god dang it! It's been so long. What was his name? But he was a fucking Marine through and through. You know, he did what he was told. He took the fall for Reagan. You know, but I mean, kudos to him. You know. Yeah. North. Yeah. What was it? Oliver North. Yeah. I mean, I remember watching the trials. Like, he's a fucking fall guy, and he fucking knows it. I could recognize it in his face. I could recognize it in his testimony. I was like, yeah. It kind of sucks to relive all these things and see, in a lot of instances, or several instances that we've been talking about, how poorly the military is treated when the commander in chief or the powers that be don't want to be caught, so they dump it on the military, and somebody takes the fall for it, you know. But that doesn't diminish my pride in doing what I did or what I thought was right at the time. Oh, Sam has another F word. It's not even letting me scroll the screen now. So I don't know if the rest of the chat can see it or not. I said show. Okay, finally. Yeah, yeah, you use the F. You use an abbreviation of the F word, so yep. Try this, Sam. Next time you want to use the F word, just type EFF. Yeah, snitches get stitches and bitches get ditches. I'm pretty sure I use the F word more than you guys do. But I've met some women that were former Navy. They're like, they made me blush. I was like, wow. Okay. Chaji check. And Sam will understand what that means. I try not to. When you hear me saying the word fudge or frick, I'm trying not to use the typical F word, but it's just in my nature. I can't help it because sometimes things are so stupid. Somebody's trying to tell me something that is so fucking stupid that I was like, fuck that, you know? And I don't know why my other moderator hasn't, you know, banned me. Yeah, yeah. I'd like to know who this other moderator is because there's nobody. I've never assigned a moderator. You guys have seen the shit that's happened in my live chats over the years. People coming out, people professing to be, 80s porn stars, and I'm like, I got this, I got this. Like, really? You chose here to come out? No, no. If a mission goes sideways, if some of them have managed to get out, extract, escape, flee, whatever you want to call it, and I say that for a very distinct reason because they don't always make extraction points, so they manage to find their way out on their own, whatever. But no, no, and nothing pisses off soldiers or sailors more than having to leave somebody behind. That mind fucks soldiers and sailors more than anything else. If they can't get them out, I can almost guarantee you that once they're out of service, they're probably going to make a stink about it, shine light on it for the rest of their lives. Yeah, I agree with Ganji. I mean, Ganji said it a little more curt than I would have, but but Ganji's 100% right. Sometimes rather than to have the mission revealed and have survivors, they would rather everybody frickin' died so they can deny it ever happened. Yeah, that's what no nobody seems to understand that we took an oath against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Although I think a lot of the troops now are misled into the more domestic protection portion of the clause oath because they have no constitutional awareness. And that's another thing. It's a very fine line depending on whatever given circumstance. It's a very fine line between a constitutional or lawful order and an unlawful order. Because a lot of times, a lot of people are going along with an unlawful order, and if you disobey it, you just become a casualty of war, victim of friendly fire, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah, everybody says, "Oh, my oath expired." No, your fucking oath didn't expire. There's no expiry on the oath. Your term of service, as active duty, expired, but there is no contractual end to your oath. Although we're all of us a little older now, we're like, fuck that. Yeah. No, but if we see something's wrong, yeah, we'll act when and if it's required, not before. We're not going to be ordered into something. Yeah, I mean, a few weeks ago, fucking Instagram was like, how can seniors join the military? I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So one of them, I was like, how desperate are they? Really? Is this part of this presidency thing? So I looked at it and I was like, bullshit. It's still the same. The cutoff is 43 unless you had prior service. So if you had 10 years prior service, the cutoff would be 53. If you had 20 years prior service, the cutoff would be 63. I'm like, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, unfortunately. But when I saw those ads, I was like, what are we doing like the fucking Soviet Union now? I mean, as a Cold War vet, I was like, really? We're so fucking desperate because you're tired of all these woke recruits that are running around boot camp in fucking tennis shoes instead of boots. Timeout, red card. Yeah, I would hate to see most of these guys in a foxhole or in a combat situation. It's like, no, this isn't what I signed up for. Timeout. And I'm like, yeah, it don't fucking work that way. I mean, even if you're out, I mean, we're talking about it now. Mentally, we're still in the game, which kind of sucks. It is a lifelong mind fuck. Yep, Sam, you used the F word again. I told you EFF. I gotta scroll up. I gotta scroll down. When, when did FCK become a trigger word for Instagram or for YouTube? Uh, that sucks. I'm sorry, Gunch. I mean that doesn't help anything, but yeah, my boot camp DI, Senior Chief Stone, had 32 years of red hash marks, all red. Senior Chief striping, and then the years of service on his sleeve. He was a Navy. He was a gunner's mate, and he joined, and they sent him to Vietnam. Then he didn't even want to be a SEAL. They made him become a SEAL. Navy SEAL. And he told me stories, aside from the boot camp class. He told me stories, but for some reason he liked me. Maybe because he recognized that I'd been abused, or I didn't say a whole lot of shit. I just had the mindset that I was gonna do it even if it killed me. So he made me third squad leader and made me the yeoman or postal clerk for the base. And he used to always tell me, get your pillow off your rack, lay it on the floor, lay under the rack, and inspect your rack for ghost turds. So he's telling me go sleep, go get some rest, But he was cool. And when graduation, my mom came, my stepfather came. He did not like my stepfather. My stepfather was fucking homosexual, coming out of the closet, and it abused me from the time I was 8 until the time I was 17. And Senior Chief Stone, recognized that, and I could see it, and my stepfather saw it too. I mean, if I had just said one word, I'm absolutely certain Senior Chief would have fucking ripped his fucking head off and shoved it down his neck. But and then I got screwed by my partner that joined the Navy with me on the buddy program, delayed entry program. I was in airman school for. He talked to me at. I already taken the ASVAB for the Air Force, and my two job choices were, or three job choices were loadmaster, jet engine mechanic, or air recon, which I think is PJs now, or was PJs. I'm not sure what it's called now, but PJs or air recon doesn't exist anymore, as far as I know. And then Taipei, Taiwan duty station shut down. My buddy talked me into joining the Navy with him, and he fucking bailed. He fucking bailed, and he totally fucked off my aviation career. Got us both put into seaman apprenticeship, but I think Senior Chief Stone had a little sway in that, and he got me sent to Diego Garcia, which was isolated duty, but I was working on the flight line as a postal clerk, so I spent a whole year working on the flight line, and I did 18 different courses. But like you guys know, in the military, especially the Navy, is you work in 18-hour days, and then you have to stand watch. You know, you have fat fucking chance of completing courses, or spending extra. You can complete the courses, but there's no way you're going to spend extra time with the gunner's mates. And I did that. And at some point, you just get burned out, and then I think by design, you just say, "Fuck it, I'm here. I'll stay here." So. Actually, when I joined the Navy, I had the option of going. It wasn't OCS, but they probably had the same thing in the Army. You could, well, warrant officers are kind of shit now anyway, but back then you could join the Hilo, the flight crew, and you could actually become a warrant officer. Ganji got. I'm trying to scroll. Ganji got blocked. So I'm trying to scroll up and then back down. It ain't showing. Shark attack. Yeah. Yeah. So between Ganji using the word pussies with the $sign and Sam using the word effed. So yeah. Another message out for review, Sam. It's just. Mm. Hey, Jeremy. I'm glad I switched the chat to alt chat. I just realized it was on top chat. So if I missed somebody, I'm sorry. Yeah, Ganji, they made me approve your comment on the PU double $sign IES. I don't see anything blocked unless I missed something. Yep. Yeah, they're trying to emasculate us all, but nope. 2 out of 3 of my nephews have been emasculated. One went totally gay, dumped his girlfriend, started living with a drag queen. I shit you not. My brother is a vet. He's rolling over in his grave and he's not even dead yet. My brother brother's been living in Indonesia. I think it's what, 6 years ago was the last time I posted up. I took him to the airport and COVID hit, and now he calls it, because Indonesia is so fucking corrupt, he calls it disappointment amnesia now. Disappoint amnesia. And he can't even leave because he doesn't have the Chinese COVID vax. He can't go shopping in the malls and shit because he doesn't have the Chinese COVID vaccine. I'm like, dude, I told you, much as it sucks in the United States, still, at least you own something here, you own it. He owns properties in Indonesia and he can't get shit billed because everybody wants fucking bribes. I was like, I get it. I was in Asia. There's still no place like home. At least here you know what the game is and you know how to fight it, how to play it. I wish my brother was back. I can't even get into Indonesia because I'm not vaccinated. I haven't taken the vaccine and I'm not going to. So unless my brother can get out, I will probably never see my brother before one or both of us is dead. Do it. Do it now, Sam. I think I caught that and I think I approved it, Ganj. Yeah, I mean, I had a stepsister, but I mean, my whole life is just, my mom lost a child before me, so I was the firstborn, and then my brother is roughly 2 years younger than me. I have to say honestly, wasn't sure how tonight was gonna go. Didn't go so well on Instagram. I mean, it wasn't bad, but I had one guy pop in, first time ever popped into live, so that was kind of cool. But I wasn't sure how it was gonna go here on YouTube, but just being the holiday that it is, and the mindset I'm in, Sam, Ganji, probably the mindset you're in too. But so I wasn't sure how it was gonna go, but I'm actually enjoying this, and I'm on my third beer, and yeah, I'm glad you guys popped in. Yeah, it means a lot. Yeah, I mean, Ganji, I know you don't know you as well as I'd like to. Sam, I know you, and I don't know you as well as I would like to. But if you guys ever, as my veteran buddies, if you ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask. I mean, if I can do it, if there's any possible way I can do it, I will do it. Yeah, I don't have I turn off notifications on apps. Any apps I have on my phone, I turn off notifications. I don't need to be reminded 20 times a day, when I'm trying to work 8 hours a day. Typically working 10 or 12 hours a day. Well, thank you, Jeremy. I don't do a whole lot of YouTube videos is now this is annoying because a few weeks ago I did it and I could do this, and I could sit the phone down, charger sticking off the side, no problem. But now YouTube has apparently changed, and I have to hold the phone in my hand just like Instagram. But the only thing I like about Instagram is I can have 4 other people, so myself and 3 other people live with me at the same time, which, you know, YouTube needs to go to the horizontal orientation, panoramic view, if you will, and allow more than one other host or co-host to come in. Yeah. They're all trying to be the same as far as orientation of the screen, yet they're all trying to be different. So they're all fucking it up. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. No, Ganji, I used that blanket so intensively that now it gets an error code on it. Until it worked up until a couple months ago. No, I have never forgotten that. Yeah, I don't do any beers. Vodka, whatever, is one thing, because you know what it is. But beers, I'm typically 5%, 5.5% or lower. When like Russian Imperial stouts, like 13% or something, like I have like the equivalent of a couple shot glasses. I'm like, wait a minute, in the middle. I was like, whoa, I look at the can, I'm like, my party's over before it started. Arnold came out. He's 5 months now, pushing 6 months. He's still wearing the cone of shame. He stays on my bed. That's the only place you can treat him with the medicines and shit. Otherwise, I mean, yesterday at the vet, they said we had an emergency. I was like, what? And they said he attacked the veterinarian and took like 3, 4 people to get a handle on him. I'm like, from Arnold, really? He's about as nimble as a tripod, you know. And they said, oh, he's really strong. I said, I told you that shit. I mean, he got in a fight with a raccoon like 5, 6 years ago. That's why he's jacked up now. Then when he couldn't see, 2 pit bulls attacked him, and he kicked their asses. I mean, he's a tough boy. Hey, Timber. Thank you, Timber. Yeah. Yeah, it's not a happy day. I mean, happy. I'm not one of the ones that ended up dying, but we're all gonna die. Hey, Patrick. So, there's Arnold with his cone of shame. I told the vet, I said, that's why he's named Arnold, because he freaking got in a fight with a raccoon and 2 pit bulls. Yeah, heavy on the memorial. Thank you, Timber. I appreciate it. I know what you're saying. Timber, you had that little bulldog, kind of a Barling style bulldog from me a while back, and I still feel bad about that. I'm gonna have to make you a pipe, something wilderness duty. Take care, Timber. Be good. Be safe. Keep your head on a swivel, keep your ears open, and your powder dry. Uh, Jeffrey, I went down a massive rabbit hole. Somebody asked me, they actually said in karaoke one night that'd be cool to have one of those Gandalf pipes. I was like, wait, maybe like one of the Lord of the Rings pipes. He said, yeah. I said, I'll make one for you. How hard could it be? And I spent 6 months going down a YouTube rabbit hole trying to find everything, and that information isn't out there anymore. A lot of pipe makers have become more and more secretive, so I spent a lot of time. Then in 2010, um, some of those have sold. I gifted him one. Then his relatives wanted to buy them from me, so I started doing it. But so 2010, I sold my GMC Sierra 2500 and just jumped off the deep end, and I rode a bike everywhere. Sold my truck, bought a lathe, bought materials, and just totally went off the deep end to you guys because, I mean, you guys changed my life. I mean, you really did. Because prior to that, I was literally looking at a spot under a bridge trying to figure out which overpass was the safest to be homeless in. Yeah, so 13 years, going on 14 years, 13 and a half years. Well, it's probably been 14 years, but I don't count the 6 months, whatever, of practice. I don't do a lot of freehand snorting style stuff, but every once in a while I do. I'm totally capable. I mean, I mentioned something to Simon in one of his lives the other day. He said, I don't think I've ever seen you do a freestyle. I was like, I do freestyles quite a bit. I don't do freehands a lot, but I have. So I'll probably do a totally random. In the next few weeks, I'll probably do a totally random freehand. Probably be straight grain and plateau on the top. So, and then just totally whatever I feel like shaping it as. Yeah, I wouldn't describe myself as an artist, and I mean, even in what I did, 2, 3 interviews on talk shows and stuff years ago, but and I think one of them asked me, "Do I consider it art?" I said, I don't consider it art. I consider it utilitarian or a tool. If after I die, whatever, if people perceive it as art, then so be it. But yeah, I mean, that would be nice, but that won't be in my lifetime. I had my first handgun. Well, my second handgun. My first handgun I stole from my stepfather, which he stole from his father. Told him he threw it in the canal. So when my stepfather packed up and left and drained my mom's bank account, asked what happened to it, I said I threw it in the canal. Told him the same shit. And then after I was out of the military, I bought a World War II surplus 1911 A1 that was packed in a brick of Cosmoline, and I totally filed down everything, bought 3 replacement barrels, and at that time they were only $20 a piece. So I figured if I ever had to use it in less than 2 minutes, I could swap out the barrel through the barrel, so ballistics wouldn't match. So yeah. Incoming. One of the blessings of living in the flight path of Executive Airport. I like SIGs. I'm not a big fan of 9mm because I've heard too many horror stories about having having to empty multiple magazines into an assailant to stop them. I mean, you get hit with a 45 once or twice, that's it, you're down. But 10mm, I like. 10mm has roughly the range of a 9mm and roughly the knockdown power of a 45. But I can't legally own any weapons outside of black powder or anything now until I pay off revenue recovery and get my rights restored. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the 9 or the 30s. 357 is about my cutoff point because it's like a 38 Magnum, if you will. Okay, so I got no space in the refrigerator because the landlord, even though I'm paying utilities and shit here, comes in and goes as he pleases, and there's a 5-pound block of fucking cheese in the refrigerator. Yeah, P228, yeah. 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 You get hit with the 45, you know it for about 2 seconds, maybe 20 seconds, and then that's it. Assuming they hit you center mass, hit you anywhere else, you'd be lucky if you don't bleed out. Yeah, 5-pound block of looked like cheddar cheese. And he brought over a whole bag of like uh, buns. And he said, feel free to help yourself to those. I was like, I just bought a bag of these big buns. He said, "Oh, that's what motivated me to go to the store and buy these." And I'm like, "So you see, I have some already, and you know I don't eat a lot of bread, but I was like, so why are you offering me shit that you know I won't use?" I better open the door. Arnold was out here. I shut the door. He probably can't get back in. Yeah, yeah. I love the 45. Revolvers. I suck with revolvers. The revolver I stole from my stepfather, which he stole from his father, threw in the canal, quote unquote. Yeah, I could never get on target with those, and that was a 38 Special Smith & Wesson, uh, an old 1950s model, a K-frame. I could never, even changing the grips, I could never, I suck with revolvers. I think the largest handgun I shot was a 50 cal, and that I damn near knocked myself out with that shit. Damn near smacked me right in the forehead. Luckily, I wear a hat all the time. In the military, I know in the military, up until about the 80s, a lot of the Air Force and Army carried 38s or 38 specials. I think they were the same thing. I think they were the Smith & Wesson K-frames. Yeah, I've shot a 44 Magnum, and yeah, that has a lot more kick than a 1911 A1 45. 38, 38 long is one I'm not familiar with. Hmm. So that would be like a underloaded 357, because you can fire a 38 special from a 357, but you can't fire a 357 Magnum from a 38 special because it's longer. So 38 long sounds very similar to a, like, just slightly under a 357 Magnum. Yeah, wad cutters. Yeah. Hmm. It, that, that's unusual because I mean back in the day when I was like 14, 15. My mom worked at Highway Patrol, and I knew more about weapons and loads than the Highway Patrolman did because I was studying to be a gunsmith. Just one of my, believe it or not, one of my innumerable interests. I've never seen a 38 long. I don't recall that. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. I'm just saying that somehow I overlooked that and never noticed it. Okay, RD. Yeah, I'm gonna be right behind you because as soon as I finish this, I'm going in. It's close to 10 o'clock, if not 10 o'clock now. Yep, there goes Arnold with the cone of shame for 5 months. Yeah, oh shit, it's 10:18 now, so yeah, I'll be signing off before too long. Good night, Jeffrey. I mean, if you guys have questions you want to ask me about anything, and I don't say this a whole lot of times, I often say you can talk about anything you want as long as it remains respectful, but tonight's one of those few nights before I sign off. If you have any questions about anything, I mean, feel free to ask. I don't take it personally or anything. Yeah, I mean, the worst I could say is fuck you. Thank you, Jeffrey. God bless you too, bro. Have a good night. Thank you, Jeremy. So Arnold just walked past me, and I can hear him. He's in my bedroom now, and he's yakking his ass off. Like, dude, you just walked past me. I'm right here. I go in there, and usually when he's loud, it's because he stays in my room. He trusts me. When everyone was saying put him down because he was falling over sideways for 5, 6 months, I hand fed him. After the fight with the raccoon, and then he'd seem to improve, and then every summer he'd get worse. Then he'd improve, then he'd get worse. But so now he's been, and the landlord, his wife, is from Indonesia. She's been here a few years now, but she's into cats. They have several cats there, and she's like my daughter, Wendy. She adopts every stray animal, and they go get them neutered or spayed, and she comes over every morning after prayers. She's Muslim, so she comes over about 5:30 every morning and feeds all these stray cats and leaves the door open. I was like, I don't need raccoons in the house. Oh, but it's cool. But I go in and Arnold's yakking, but he's like his mom a lot. And then once I go in, I lay on the bed, then he comes up and he puts his head right next against me, and then he starts licking my beard or my hair, grooming me. And then he just lays there with his head against me, with his forehead touching me, and his paw all the way across me. I'm like, yeah, okay. But I mean, that's what makes him feel safe. So I get it. I like animals. You know. Thank God I'm divorced because if if I was married or had a girlfriend right now, yeah, Arnold would be a major thorn in my relationship. Maltese Mousy, yeah, cool. feeling tired. I've only had, I've only dabbled at my supper before getting on this live, so I'm not even gonna finish the beer. I'm just gonna finish this smoke and then we'll call it a night. So we got about 3-4 minutes. Sorry, I used to be able to make your lives. I don't know if you were doing them later, Sam, or not, but the past few months it seems like I'm waking up California time, and I'm typically up for breathing treatments about 3-4:30 in the morning, and then lately I'm up at 7:30 in the morning, but I'm not able. So that's what I think you're 3 hours ahead of me. So I'm not seeing your lives. I'm just getting up a little too late. Well, Patrick, there's no rest for the wicked. Okay, so we all seem to be the same mindset, and everybody's taking pity on me for being old and tired. But I was willing to hang out through the cigarette. But I thank you all for coming in. Remember what this holiday's for. You know, if you have family that served, you know, I don't care if you barbecue or whatever, or have a few drinks, whatever, but toast them, do it in their remembrance. So, like I always say, you have three choices in life: be good, be great, or be awesome. You know, if you can't be good, be great. If you can't be great, be fucking awesome. Appreciate you guys all popping in, and it was really enjoyable to have a bunch of vets in here and shooting the shit tonight. So, be good, guys. Sign language. This is I love you. So this is a short. Love you all. Be good. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your families. Be good. Love you. Good night, guys.